If you're looking for a starter DSLR, this might be a good option. This is the Nikon D3400, and today I'm going to spend a little time talking about it and putting it through its paces. Nikon released the D3400, which is the successor to the D3300. And if you're new to DSLRs, this might be a good option for you. I'm going to spend a little time today and we're going to review this camera. I'm going to go over the features and then we're going to put it through its paces. I'm going to give you a list of pros and cons and then just my general thoughts on it. To begin with, this is a 24 megapixel camera and that's pretty good by today's standards. It also lacks the anti-aliasing filter. Now, if you're not familiar with that, in short, that means that these images should be a little sharper, and it's nice to see that Nikon's doing that, even with their entry-level DSLRs like the 3400 here. The ISO on this ranges from 100 to 25,000, and that's pretty good. If you're new to DSLRs, 25,000 basically means that it will enable you to take pictures in low-light situations. Now, they might be grainy, but you at least have the capability to do it by going all the way up to 25,000. If you're in burst mode, continuous mode, this will shoot at 5 frames a second. Now, it's nothing really special, but it is an entry-level DSLR, so it's helpful to have something. Has 11 focal points, with one of them being a cross type. Now, that's not a lot, but again, keep in mind, this is an entry-level DSLR. This will shoot 1080p at 60 frames a second. It'll also do it at 50, 30, 25, and 24. 15% lighter than the 3300. And also 40%, roughly 40% lighter than the 3200. So this camera is, it's really, really light. If you've had DSLRs before, this almost feels like a toy. I mean, you know, I can hold it like this, so it just feels really light and nimble, quick and easy to use. This does have a guide feature on it. We'll take a look at that a little later. And I do like that. Now, the guide feature is not something you're going to see on, you know, prosumers or professional level DSLRs. But for the entry level, it's nice because I think it'll help you to better understand what some of the features are used for, like the aperture, the shutter, and the ISO. It also includes 10 filters. Now, these are filters that are found on the 5000 series, like the 5100. I don't typically use the filters that often, but you have them in case you want to. So something else to note here is that this camera in the US sells with the lens kit. Now, you can get it, I'm sure you can get it without the lens kit, but this right here, I know you can get it at Sam's Club, and it has 2 lenses on it. It has the 18 to 55 and the 70 to 300. Now, what's odd about this is that the 18 to 55 has VR on it, which is Nikon's version of the vibration reduction. And so it's nice to have, but it's typically beneficial on your zoom lenses. So what's funny is the 70 to 300 does not have VR. So the question is why? Now, there's a lot of thought that they did this to keep the price point under $1,000. But what's interesting is that in the US at Sam's Club, you can get this body right here and the lens kit for about $650. Now, I don't know if that's just a current sale, and it might be a sale price. I don't know, but this camera was just recently released, so I was surprised to see that price point at $650 for those 2 lenses. I think that is about all I have for right now when it comes to the features that I wanted to point out. One quick note before we get going. To begin with, I shoot in aperture priority, and I'm going to shoot raw. And the other thing I like to do is I like to enable the back button focus. We can talk about that later, or if you have some questions, post them below and I'll do my best to help you out with that. But I always like back button focus. So with that said, let's just go ahead and jump right in and make it happen.
Stumbling through the poison rain. It's time to go. Yeah, I go alone. They say body doesn't fall very fast. Moon fall, no looking back, or no. These boots find the road.
Now that I'm done putting this camera through the paces, it's time to move on with my list of pros, cons, and just my general overall thoughts on this camera. To begin with, let's go ahead and jump right into the pros. I do have my list of notes here just to ensure I don't forget anything, and it's some stuff I jotted down over the day. This lens right here that they included in the kit, this is an AFP, so the P is a silent focusing lens, and this is most helpful for video. If you've looked at the Canon cameras at all, this is very similar to the STM lenses that Canon puts on their, predominantly their 70D and 80D. Now I've tested both of those cameras and that STM lens is sweet. Now if you've ever used Nikon cameras in the past for video, my biggest challenge has always been the way it hunts for focus. Now if you don't do autofocus and you just use manual, then you don't have to be concerned about that. But if you're going to shoot videos of family or events and things like that, you just want to put it on autofocus, then you really don't want that thing hunting around. And it's also when it hunts, you can hear it on the built-in microphone. So in this case, with this lens, there is very, very little hunting, if any at all. Unlike the 3300, the 3400 has removed the anti-aliasing filter, which I believe I mentioned before. And that's nice because it helps to increase the sharpness of the images. Keeping in mind that I shot RAW with all of my testing, but I did also test with the JPEG just to see what they look like. And again, based on what I did, I felt that they look fine up to 3200. I think that the focusing is relatively quick, which is good for family shots. Again, this is an entry-level DSLR, so when I say relatively quick, I mean it's relative for the entry-level camera. So this is good right here. The last notable I have is the battery life. The battery life on this thing is awesome. I think it's great. It's rated up to 1200 shots. I only charged this up one time and just, basically used the heck out of this thing through the day and had no trouble with it. So it's worked out really well for me, and I got plenty of battery left, so it's great. We're going to move right into the cons. So similar to the 3300, with the shadows and the highlights, I think they can be a bit harsh. I don't think it's a deal breaker, but it's just something to note. Bluetooth. So this has Bluetooth, but no Wi-Fi. There's some challenges with that. And the short of it is that with Bluetooth, you have to leverage the Nikon SnapBridge application, which is fine, but you can only transfer small files, and the max is up to 2 meg, I believe, with this camera, which means you will not be able to transfer the full JPEG 24 megapixel type camera that you could get, or the 24 megapixel images that you can get from this camera. And you can't transfer videos, and you cannot remotely control this camera. Now, this is an entry-level camera, so it's I think that's to be expected. And it's relatively new for an entry-level camera to have Bluetooth on it, I believe. So it's kind of nice that they're taking steps in the right direction. But it would be nice if they had the full-on Wi-Fi. And I know they have it with their higher-end cameras. But again, keeping in mind this is entry-level, it's nice to see the Bluetooth. The 3300 had a mic jack, but they pulled it off the 3400. You have 11 focal points in here, but when you look inside, they're really, really small and tiny. But again, entry-level camera. So how does it compare with the other ones? I think it does. I think it's on par, if not a little better. That's all I have for my list of cons. Now I'm going to give you my overall thoughts. So let's talk real quick. If you're looking to get into DSLRs, is this a good camera for you? My opinion is yes, absolutely. The only thing I would caution against is the price point. So when you look at this, you want to be careful of the lens kit that comes with this body. This right here is the 18-55, and it also has the 70-300. And if you're looking to get into DSLRs, you need to start with the lens anyway. And if you're not sure if you want to stay with DSLRs or if it's really your thing, then it's fine. Go ahead and pick up the body right here. But look for the 18-55 only. I think they sell a kit like that without the 70-300. There's 18-55. Again, this is a good, solid lens, VR, and it's got the slow autofocusing or the quiet autofocusing system on it. If you think DSLR is really for you, you could just buy the body and then look for better glass. Look for something a little more versatile. I always like the 18-200 zoom lens. Now keep in mind that lens will cost far more than the body. But if you find out that DSLRs aren't for you, you can always resell that equipment. And if you find out that they are for you, then you can take that lens and transfer it to another crop sensor body. So that's what's nice about having good glass. So you hear a lot of people talk about that. So at any rate, if you have any questions, be sure to post them below and I'll do my best to help you out. I hope this review helped you. If it did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so, subscribe to the channel. It's called The Real World. More often than not, I post videos about photography and technology, but I also post them about home ownership, automobile maintenance, and anything else that might happen in the real world. So until the next video, take care of yourself and be safe.